Hey everyone, welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial, and today I'm gonna show you a simple design that I made. It is the hostile mob farm. This hostile mob farm is meant to be built in the early games, and it's not the most efficient, as you can see here. A lot of those spiders climbed up to the walls and they will block the mob cap, and so this is very simple to build. It's all right here, you can see them, and the drops are pretty decent, as you can see here. This is from just a few minutes of AFK, and there's more drops than 2 hoppers can handle. And yeah, let me show you how it works. First up, this is the super long repeater clock, and it runs into this model stables circuit, but its output isn't 2 game ticks long, it is 8 game ticks, and it runs into this pulse extender, and the pulse extender determines how long the water is releasing. So when this pulse extender is powered, the water isn't here until the pulse extender finishes, and the water will be released, and it waits until the clock is back and the pulse extender is powered again, and it will get rid of all the waters and let the mobs spawn. And there are 2 ways of the wire here. One goes over to that direction and another one goes here. And what this is doing is this dispenser will retract the water, making this water flowing water, and you must have all the columns be water source, and then the water column will be working. So when we retract the water here, it will power all of these pistons at the same time and get rid of the water in the farm. And when the water has been dispensed out again, the water will be flowing and pushes the mobs into the middle. So right here is the dropping chute, and you will make a collection system down here, and you can collect all of your drops. And make sure you have magma blocks for the collection system, because as you can see here, a baby zombie villager is riding a chicken and he won't die from fall damage. So make sure you have magma blocks at the bottom so you can prevent things like this. So enough talking, and let's get into the tutorial. So first, if you have a perimeter, you should have your floor at y equals 4, and you can stand on y equals 5. That's because bedrocks start generating from the lowest y value until y equals 4, and y equals 5 is the layer that the bedrock stops generating. So if you don't have a perimeter, it's also okay for you to build this farm. It's just not that efficient. But if you don't have a perimeter, try a way to build as low as you can. So now you have to put your rails on y equals 5, and it's gonna be 5 blocks wide, like so, and 30 blocks long. So like so. And now you'll have to find a way to power your powered rails. So see if there's any block blocks that are stones and not bedrock, and you're gonna replace that stone block with a redstone block, and that will power the whole row of the powered rails. And you can use 2 redstone blocks to power the whole row, but if you can't, it's also fine. But you're gonna have to do this for each row until all of the powered rails are powered. When you're done, it's gonna look something like this, as long as all of the rails are powered. And now put your solid blocks at one end of the rails, and that will make the minecarts hit this wall and bounce back. And the unloading system will be at this end. Now put your normal rails like this. And actually I'm running out of space. So like this. And you're gonna put 2 normal rails and 2 more rows of blocks to elevate the rails. And now take your hoppers and place a row that's facing outwards like this, and then another row. You're gonna have a row of hoppers facing downwards like this, and place your powered rails up here. And it's gonna look like this. And now place your droppers facing downwards on the last row of the hoppers. Now for the unloading system, you're gonna put a blocks like this, redstone comparators facing outwards, and it's gonna go into a block, and then torches on the side of them, and a line of blocks on top of the torches, repeaters like this, and another row of blocks like this. So it's gonna look like this. And now get your pistons and place it like this, and it's all facing downwards on the side of the torches, and then observers facing outwards and 2 rows facing inwards. Like this. And whenever you place any blocks near a farm, you always have to mob proof them, or else the mobs will spawn over here and block the mob cap. You can block spawning by placing slabs or trapdoors or even carpets, and there are a lot of options, but the easiest one is to place the slabs. And then you're gonna place magma blocks on top of the powered rails, so it ends until the powered rails, and you don't place any magma blocks on top of the normal rails. So the magma blocks is 5 blocks wide and 31 blocks long. So after you finish the magma blocks, you'll also have to mob proof the top of the blocks here. And now your collection system is done. And now it's time to build your farm. So take this as a scale. If the collection system where the mobs die from fall damage is 1, then you'll have to make the mobs spawn on y equals 30. So in this case it's 5. So we're gonna build until 34. So here is 34, and remove all of these blocks and build these blocks on the side and leave 3 blocks of gaps in between. And your spawning blocks is at the edge of the magma blocks. So this column here is on top of this magma block, and the other one is on top of this. So there are 3 blocks of gaps in between them, and it's the same for the sides. It's also on top of the edge of the magma blocks. And now fill in the ring. So now build the ring of the mob farm like this, and the sides here are where the glass gonna go, and build 8 blocks outwards like this. So it's 8 blocks. So this is 8 blocks, and you're gonna stop at the 8th block because water flow 8 blocks, and you can fill in the glass right here. And then this is the 8th block, and add 1 more block and place in the glass like this, and you're gonna build it all the way to there, and also on the other side. So there's a mistake. This row should be solid blocks, and place your trapdoors facing inwards. So like this on the side of this block, and it's on the upper end or lower end. It's both can work, and you should be able to open and close all of these trapdoors like this. So there's a block like this, and also the trapdoors. And now place in the glass or whatever solid blocks or whatever full blocks right on this side right here, and also on this side, and it looks like this. And you also need to place glass on top of the trapdoors, and you can build until the 2nd layer. It's fine. And now to power all of these trapdoors, we need some redstone, and we're gonna place it on top of these solid blocks and calculate the midpoint, and that's where you can place your repeater. And make sure that the midpoint that you selected can power all of the trapdoors. In this case it doesn't, so maybe it's right here. So yeah, now all of the trapdoors can be powered or closed. So that's the middle point, and you're gonna use this middle point on the other side as well. And now this is a slice of the farm. It's a layer, and you will stack the slice on top of the other. So there's gonna be another spawning platform on here, and there are 2 blocks in between the spawning layers to prevent endermen from spawning, because we can't really use water to push endermen, and that will just cause them to teleport. And now if you are building as low as you can, you should check on the chunk border, especially the sub chunk, which is the y-axis. And there's a road to building a fast hostile mob farm is build it as low as you can, and it's best if you build it in the lower 3 chunks. And if you can see here, this is 1 sub chunk, the 2nd sub chunk, and the 3rd sub chunk. And you can build as many slices as you want, as long as it doesn't exceed the third sub-chunk. But I also don't recommend to build as many layers as you can, because the spawning algorithm isn't based on the sub-chunk. It is based on the literal coordinate of your block. So the maximum is 4, and 4 is efficient enough, so you don't need to build more. So now for the wire that's gonna activate all of these trapdoors, you need to place down a redstone block right here on the side, and a sticky piston facing into the block, and then a block, a solid block, and then a observer facing into the block. So like this. And then to power this observer, we're gonna use water columns. So you're gonna build a tube like this, and then a floor to it, and you're gonna put a dispenser facing into the tube like so, and the dispenser will contain a water bucket. And to create water columns, you can either use soul sand or the magnet blocks. It's up to you. So like this. And then you're gonna fill the inside of this tube with source block, except the bottommost block right here where the dispenser is. And this basically will power the whole farm, which are on this side. And it's the same for the other side. So again, redstone block like this, and then sticky piston facing into the block, a solid block, a observer facing into the block, and then the tube, and then a dispenser, facing into the tube, and then use a magnet block or soul sand to be the bottom of the water column, and then fill the whole tube with source block, except the block underneath here. And this is basically a complete slice, and build it 3 more times to get the 4 layers. Now if you are done, we can continue with the side, which is the wiring. So extend your tube until the highest layer, and then again fill all of these with source block, and then observers coming out from the tube, and do it for every layer. Like so. And then blocks, sticky piston, and then redstone block. It's that simple. And again, use your slabs or whatever to block the mobs from spawning. And make sure to extend the slab outwards for a block, because when the redstone block is extended, the mobs will be able to spawn on top of the block if there is no slabs. So what I like to do is to cover the whole thing, so it's more easier. and also cover up the water column, and it's the same for the other side. And so the other side is done as well. And now to wire them to a clock. So now place a block like this, and then a observer facing into the block, so like this. And then you'll have a line of blocks like this, and you can place power rails or the activator rails, it's the same. And then at this corner right here, add a solid block, the observer facing into the block, and again use your rails to connect it until the middle. The middle block is a gap, and then do the same for the other side. And actually here we should add another observer, and then same for this side, and it's gonna be like this. So the end result is like this. And actually here we don't need any observers, we need them right here. So like this, and also like this, and place a block like this, and then place a repeater on top of the block, and then another block on top like this, and the two redstone dust like so, and one right here. And this is gonna be a pulse extender like this, and then a block like this, repeater set to 4 ticks, a sticky piston facing upwards, solid block, a redstone dust, a block on the side, and this is the big repeater clock. So you'll have 8 blocks of repeaters, so 2 more, and then it's the same on the other side. So it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and the other side is gonna be repeaters going back. And then here's a block and a redstone torch, and then you can have a lever right here to close the clock. So this is the whole redstone bit done, and make sure that all of these repeaters are set to the longest tick like this, and your farm should be almost done. And now for you to waterlock the trapdoors, so we're gonna do something like this, and you should see all of the spawning spaces are covered in water, and they don't flow down to this gap right here. And do it for every layers, and like so you have done all of the layers. And now for the farm to actually work, you're gonna make the whole farm dark, and you can do that by placing slabs on top of the farm. So a big slab roof like that will make the farm working. So the way to make the slab roof, you'll have to look at the layer right here. This is the corner of a spawning platform, and then place a block, so 2 blocks of air gap, and then a slab. And now place 15 slabs that direction and that direction. So like this, and then place more slabs to make it like this. And this is what you want to do. So a diagonal line of slabs, and fill in all of these gaps like so. And for all of these slabs, it's gonna be the same. So the slab's gonna be like this. Until here, which is the other corner of the spawning layer. So again, 15 blocks to this direction, and then 15 blocks to this direction, like so. And all of these should be filled in with slabs, and this corner is basically the same. So diagonal line like this, and do that for the whole slab roof. And you should have all of these spawning layers be light level equals to 0. So at the end, it should look like this. And you can see here, all of the mobs are spawning on the side, and this is why you should mob proof your mob farm. So if you have a perimeter and you have a platform underneath this farm, you should AFK higher until this y equals 5 is 120 blocks away from your AFK spot. Oh, and also all of these blocks up here should be mob proof as well. So it includes this, and also right here, the observers have to be mob proof as well. Mobs are able to spawn on the observers, so it should look like this. And also, if you are your AFK spot is on top of the farm, you shouldn't AFK on top of the farm. You should AFK on the side right here where the mobs aren't spawning, because the spawning algorithm now checks for the highest block in the chunk, and it doesn't matter if it is a transparent block or a solid block. So now you should AFK on the side right here, and it should be as efficient as any AFK spot. So this is just for demonstration purposes. So I will remove these blocks for now and show you the rates of the farm. Oh, and also you need some hopper minecarts down here. You need 5 for every row. You can make an extra wire to turn off the minecart collecting system whenever this farm is turned off, so it doesn't cause lags when you're not using the farm. So now I will show you the farm working. So you need to wait for a while for the farm to start, and stand away 24 blocks in radius, and you will see mobs spawning. So maybe some mobs are holding themselves up there. Okay, so I actually made a mistake right here. So it should be like this, and then there's a redstone dust right here. So I'll extend one more block. So it's still the same delay. 8 blocks to there and also 8 blocks back. And now the clock should be working like so. And now the farm is working. And also one thing to note here, you should make sure that your farm is letting the water flow by default, so that you can turn off the farm completely so no mobs can spawn in this farm whenever you turn off the farm. So if you turn off the farm and it is flowing water like this, you are good. But if your situation is like this, so there are no water flowing when you turn off the farm, just simply break the repeater and replace it so it will give only one update. And now it should be flowing water by default. And here for the storage system, you can just make a water stream that collects the items. So here would be the bedrock and the stone layer. So I'm just mimicking here, and you'll put a water source actually right here, like this, and cover it up, and then find a block that isn't a bedrock and replace it with ice. Whatever ice is okay. And right here you will make a water column. So block the water like this, and then make sure this block here also isn't a bedrock. So if it is a bedrock, you can redirect the water to this direction, and then come back to here, and then turn back to this direction again, or whatever. You'll have to think of a way to make this happen. There shouldn't too much bedrock, so if this whole chunk right here is bedrock, you can use the other side, and it should be possible to do this, to build this water column. It's just 2 blocks of stone, so it should be possible. And now fill all of your tube with water source and make this water column working. And again, make whatever storage system that you like. So for this farm, I recommend you guys to use the standard storage system. It's like this, and water right here, and then like this. And I think this is the best storage system for this farm, because the farm produce more drops than 2 hoppers can handle, and thus you have to have a lot of hoppers. So this is the system that I'm talking about. It has a lot of chests, and make sure you mob-proof your whole storage system. So like so, there's spawning spaces right here, and I use buttons to prevent the mobs from spawning. And so this is the cheap and easy mob farm to build. If you're in the end game, you shouldn't use this design. You should find a better design that is the most efficient, but this design is already quite decent, and so we can check on the drops. Oops. If you are okay with the drops flying, you can leave it. But if you want it to just be quicker, you'll have to block the top of the water column. And so you can see, because this hopper cannot collect all of them, the rest are left to the other hoppers, like some of these, and you wouldn't waste any of these drops. So it fills up quite quickly. And yeah,
several bad puns later.
So a small improvement that I thought is when there is solid blocks at the foot level of the mobs, the rates will actually be lower. So a small improvement is all of these solid blocks, change it into slabs, and all of these wirings, put it lower so that these solid blocks won't be at the same height as these. So the solid blocks like this or this one won't be lowering the chance of spawning. So what I mean is like this. So like this. So actually the slabs won't work, but you can figure out a smarter powering system to prevent the solid blocks right here to be at the foot level, and just bring all of these wirings down just a block or more. So that is the end of the video. If you like my video, make sure to leave like and also subscribe so you wouldn't miss any of my future contents. And for now, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.